This is the iPod Touch 4th generation. Welcome back. In this video, we'll be talking about why you might want to buy or use an iPod Touch 4th generation in 2021. That's what's coming up. The iPod Touch 4th generation was released in September 2010, which is over 10 years ago. The iPod Touch 4th generation has become the defining look for the iPod series. Let's talk about the design of the iPod. So the iPod Touch Generation 4 was the first Apple device to receive the Retina display. It was way lighter than the older versions and became one of the first iPods to have a camera at the front and back of the device. It used the same stainless steel backing that came in the previous iPods and has a 3.5-inch tiny display. The display seems quite square because of the size of it. The iPod Touch looks so small compared to my Pixel 4a, which in the current times is counted as a small phone. At the bottom of the device, it has a 30-pin charging port, which was the last iPod to have the 30-pin charging port before the next iPod got the lightning charger. It also features a headphone jack. This iPod Touch has quite a small battery because of the size, so if you've used it since it was released till now, it will obviously die quickly as the battery will have deteriorated. It also has quite clicky buttons, which is nice. The back of the iPod, which is stainless steel, is very attractive to fingerprints. It's got the massive bezels from the iPhone 3GS and the iPhone 4, which makes it look really outdated. The Retina display on this device is 960 by 640 pixels, so that's only a 640p resolution, and it's got an aspect ratio of 3:2, so again, this is a very square screen. Let's really quickly talk about the storage options that came with the iPod Touch Generation 4. So, when it was released, there was an option for 8GB, 32GB, and 64GB, where the 16GB one was released 1 year later. So, the iPod Touch Generation 4 was the first ever iPod to come with a selfie camera and a rear camera. However, the quality of these cameras are pretty bad. The rear camera is 0.7 megapixels, so that's not even 1 megapixel, and the selfie camera is 0.3 megapixels. So if you were rounding, that would go to 0. Let's go out and take some photos with this thing and have a look. So these photos are coming from the 0.7 megapixel rear camera. So as you can see, they're not very good. But now let's take a look at the selfie camera. That's again 0.3 megapixels. That's even worse. Of course, this is a 10-year-old iPod, so obviously it's going to be a bit slower than the current iPhones and iPods. So this is a single-core A4 chipset, which was the same as the iPhone 4, and had 256 megabytes. Only 256 megabytes. That's a quarter of a gigabyte of RAM, which was the same as the iPhone 3GS at the time. Because of this, the iPod can only update to iOS 6.1.6, but because it's running iOS 6, it performs pretty well, and it feels like a good experience. It's not very fast, but it's very functional, and it's very good to use. Also, because it's iOS 6, the App Store is really outdated. So you can only get a few apps on there, and most of them don't even work. Let's just talk about playing music and listening to music on the iPod Touch Generation 4. So, the audio quality from the built-in speakers is pretty bad. But you can connect it to a speaker via an AUX cable, or you can connect to it by Bluetooth. Just have a listen to these two comparisons of the iPod speakers and the UE Boom speakers. So the one you're hearing now is the iPod Touch Generation 4 built-in speakers. The one you're hearing now is the UE Boom 2 speaker, coming from the iPod by Bluetooth. So that's a slight comparison of the two, and the fact that you can connect the speaker is pretty cool. However, because of the App Store's problems, you obviously can't get Spotify or Apple Music or streaming services like that. So unless you have a massive iTunes library from 10 years ago, or you're willing to buy music now, or you've got downloaded music that you already have that you could listen to, you really can't listen to much music on this device. Let's talk about why you might actually want to buy the iPod Touch Generation 4. A good example is if your child wants a phone, but you don't want to give them that ability, then you can give them this device, which you can currently find on eBay from somewhere between $20 and $50, sometimes even $10, and give them this device for them to learn how to take care of a device. That way they don't have as many functions as a phone does, but they're getting that responsibility. If you have a good example, leave them in the comment section below. So, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to press that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know in the comments why you or someone else might want to buy the iPod Touch Generation 4. Thanks for watching.